Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Safe Flails with Mycorrhiza. This is taking me way longer to get through than I first intended. I was going to play it every day and then life happened. But I think this might be the final stream. I'm not actually sure because there are 3 doors, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a 4th door. Or extra things to do. Maybe I have to go back into each door to do something special. After I've completed them all, I'm really not sure. I have no idea. I think I got all the trophies from door 1 and door 2. So I think that means I completed everything from door 1 and from door 2. To those of you who didn't watch the previous streams, feel free to go do so. It doesn't matter what order you play the doors in. You can play them in any order. Meaning, if you missed me playing door 1, or door 2, if you missed me playing door 1, doesn't really matter. You can go back and watch it later. I think all the stories sort of piece together into one big puzzle. But just to give you a basic idea, door 1 was about crazy evil pets. Pets eating these plants, these kind of mushroomy fungal plants that made them disfigure and disform and become evil creatures. Door 2 was about people wanting to make their faces as funny as possible, and they did that by disfiguring their faces, by cutting up other people's faces and sticking them to their own faces. It was lots of fun. So far I'd say I liked door 2 more than door 1, but they were both really good, both really enjoyable. But door 2 was a little bit more engaging, so let's see what happens with door number 3. Oh, and there are keys! So you can end up with a key in your pocket if you do the right thing. So I've got a key from door 1 and a key from door 2. I assume if I get a key from door 3, I will open up a special secret ending or something. I'm actually going to be sad for this to end because I'm really enjoying it, and it's hard to. There are a lot of visual novels out there, but it's hard to find ones that really suit you. So, good job, developers. I've said it a bunch of times, but good job, developers. Oh, speaking of, I should tag developers, shouldn't I, in my tweet? Yes, I should. Let's do that right now before we get started. Let's do that right now. Let's do that right now. Oh, someone retweeted it already. I can't remember what their YouTube is though. It's this one. There we go. Okay. Oh, visual novel retweeter retweeted my tweet. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Alright, we'll take that. Okay. Let's do this. Door 3. Door 3. Okay. Hands! Trapped. Oh, good. Sounds joyful. Joyful. Okay, and now the evil dog is on Nightmare. Okay, cool. I shot awake, panting heavily, my clothes sticking to my skin due to all the sweat. My eyes darted around the room, but everything was quiet. I seemed to be safe. So I want to know what's going on here. So he stumbles into this abandoned house, and every time he falls asleep, he has a different dream and then wakes up remembering that different dream, which is how they're able to have three different storylines occurring about the same character. But what's going to happen to the character? A nightmare. Seems like I just had a nightmare. I was chased by some kind of animal or monster, and there was some eerie plant. I had forgotten most of the dream, but I knew that it must have been terrifying. The pulsing pain in my head slowly subsided. I took deep breaths and kept mumbling to myself that it had all been a dream, nothing more. After calming down, I decided to take another look around the house. The fact that no one was here, even though the lights were on, was still nagging at the back of my mind. But what I saw when I opened the bedroom door was not what I had expected. Oh no, there's something! There's something there now! Oh no! I don't want to look. I don't want to click. Okay. Oh! Oh! Instead of the living room I had entered the bedroom through, I found myself in the middle of a long hallway. A row of doors interspersed with handrails covered each wall. I could hear people chatting in the distance. Where was I? And how did I get here? The place looked like a hotel at first glance. A plate with a room number was hanging next to all the doors. Mine was 215. As I moved towards the end of the hallway, I took a more thorough look at my surroundings. The floor was lined with a red carpet featuring an elaborate design. The red and white walls complemented the elegant atmosphere. On the ceiling hung electrical lamps that were similar in design to candles. As I stepped out of the hallway, I was momentarily blinded by the bright ambience. A huge chandelier was hanging on the ceiling of the grand hall I had stepped into. I seemed to be on the upper floor of this two-floor structure. The ground floor, apparently a restaurant area, was lined with tables. Multiple people were dining and happily chatting with each other. A huge window across from me showed a big body of water. Was I in a hotel by the beach? The water looked oddly close. I needed answers. Quickly, I located the stairs and hurried down towards the restaurant. Basement? Restaurant. Luckily, one of the waiters was just passing by as I reached the bottom. Excuse me, could you tell me where I am? He answered without hesitation. You're in the restaurant area, sir. If you'd like to order something, you need to... No, I mean this whole hotel. This time he did hesitate. Well, you're on the... How did I decide to pronounce this? Kedgemite cruise ship. We're on a cruise ship? What are we doing on a cruise ship? If that's what you mean. Is everything in order? Cruise ship? How did I get on a cruise ship? Had I been kidnapped? Would my kidnappers let me walk around freely? The waiter had a concerned look on his face. He glanced over his colleague, who had gestured to him with a stern expression on her face. I could call someone over to help you. Or you could find someone at the help desk just at the end of that hallway. He gestured back up the stairs and pointed at another hallway next to this one. The one he had come out of. Why am I making up phrases today? See if I can get comfy. Let's have a sip of coffee. Yeah. Thank you. I'll just ask for more information at the help desk. I didn't want to hold him up any longer. The waiter's colleague had by now crossed her arms in front of her chest and was tapping her foot impatiently. The waiter hesitantly nodded and turned away from me. A cruise ship? I didn't remember ever booking a ticket for a cruise. But as I rummaged through my pockets, I did find a key card with the number 215 on it. Right, the help desk. I should be able to find out more there. I made my way back up the stairs. The room at the end of the second hallway looked like a lounge area. It was filled with comfortable sofas and armchairs. This is definitely the most intriguing one, because how the hell are we on a cruise ship? I mean, if it's a dream, that makes sense, but what the? Multiple groups of people were chatting to each other. I could see children playing near what I assumed to be the help desk. I quickly approached the man standing at the desk, who perked up from the documents he was browsing. Hi, how can I help you? I'm a bit lost. Well, I don't really remember booking a cruise. Is there a way to get off early? Yep. There is a way to get off a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean. Good one, Scott. He looked at me with a similarly puzzled expression as the waiter. Could you tell me your room number? Yes, it's 215, but I don't really remember booking it. I took out my key card and showed it to him. The man opened a drawer and started expertly flipping through the folders. Shortly after, he pulled out a document. Is this your name and signature? He turned it so that I could see it. To my surprise, the name and the signature written on it were indeed mine. But how? How could I forget signing up for a cruise? As for your second question, we're currently on the last day of our trip. The ship will arrive at the Kejamite port tomorrow at noon. Are you here with anyone? He threw a skeptical look my way. I must have sounded like a weirdo. No, I'm alone. I'll just sort things out tomorrow then. The employee shrugged and put the folder back into the drawer. Don't hesitate to let me know if you need any more help. I turned around, wondering what my next course of action should be when... It's May, isn't it? It's gonna be May. Ow. Something had hit one of my legs hard. I stumbled, but managed to stop my fall by holding onto the help desk. Oh, it's not! It's Lanny! And so, is that Sabrina? Oh God, are you okay? Lanny, you need to pay more attention. Well, if this story goes like any of the other stories, Lanny's dead. If he's not dead now, he'll be dead soon. I looked up to see what had hit me. Initially, I had assumed that I had walked into some piece of furniture, but that wasn't the case. A boy was sitting on the ground in front of me. Someone was standing over him, making sure that he was alright. As soon as she has confirmed that he wasn't hurt, she turned to me. I'm very sorry about that. Are you hurt anywhere? Lanny, make sure to apologize. Sorry, I wasn't looking. No, it's alright. I'm okay. I turned to the boy named Lanny. Are you okay? Yeah, it's nothing. His look was fixed to the ground. It seemed like he really did feel bad about bumping into me. The woman had, in the meanwhile, fixed her gaze onto my face. Are you sure you're alright? You look rather pale. No, I'm fine. That didn't seem to convince her. My confusion and frustration about being on this boat had shown on my face. Would you like to sit down with us for a bit? I have some medicine against seasickness. It might help. Now that she was mentioning it, I was feeling a bit woozy. Had I been too preoccupied with figuring out what was going on to notice? She led me to one of the sofas and motioned me to sit down. My name is Sabrina, by the way. The boy here is Lenny, and the girl over there is Amy. She motioned to a girl sitting at a table nearby who was brooding over a piece of paper. My name is Scott. Are they your family? Sabrina stopped rummaging through her handbag and looked at me with an amused smile on her face. Oh no, they're my neighbor's kids. We're good friends and I paint with their children sometimes. I'm currently looking after them. While Sabrina was still looking for the medicine, Lanny approached his sister and peered over her shoulder. He then grimaced and walked over to our sofa to take a seat next to Sabrina. Here you go. She handed me a pill from a small bottle. Out of the corner of her eyes, I saw Lanny motion to Amy. I don't get how she can be so into drawing. It's boring. She's been at it for at least half an hour, and it still looks terrible. Don't worry, Amy, I can relate. Hey, I heard that. Amy shot an angry glance at Lanny. Good art needs time. Maybe you should work on art as well. Yeah, maybe it'd help with your hyperactivity. I'm not hyperactive. I'm just healthy. That's what Dad says. I guess so. If I had any ounce of knowledge about music, I could help you relieve your energy that way at least. Though it's also been a while since my art... Sabrina trailed off with a sad look on her face. Don't worry, it's okay. I've been figuring things out on my own. Also, I've been asking Dad and Mom if they can buy me a melodica. I'm pretty sure that I'll get one soon. You two really seem to have a knack for art and music. Your parents must be proud of you. I don't know about Amy, but I'm pretty sure they're proud of me. Amy shot another angry glance Lanny's way, but didn't retort. She seemed to be the mature one in their sibling relationship. It is Frederick. Hi, Frederick. Hey, do you have any more of those pills? I jumped slightly. A voice had called out from right behind me. As I turned around, I saw a grumpy-looking man. Sabrina grabbed her handbag once again. Another one, Frederick? It says on the package that one should be enough. Apparently not. I can't work while feeling like crap. Why did I agree to go on this trip? Sabrina gave him a skeptical look, but handed him a pill without saying anything. Frederick turned around on the spot and trotted off. Sabrina sighed. Sorry about that. He's usually more pleasant. The seasickness must be getting to him. Yeah, he's much more pleasant usually. He's been murderous every time I've met him in previous stories. So, yeah. That coupled with an upcoming deadline for an article. So, he's a journalist? No, that's not what I meant. He's a biologist and he's been working hard on getting something published in that one magazine. If you ask me, his obsession with getting more publications is a bit unhealthy. A fellow scientist? Now that I thought about it, I hadn't written anything in a while myself. Way more pressing matters had taken up my time recently. The spores were still... I jolted up. Sabrina looked at me surprised. The spores? Thank you for the medicine. I feel better now. I should get going now, though. I was too anxious to sit still. even though I knew that there was nothing I could do until the ship came into port the next day. Alright, take care. Feel free to let me know if you need any more medicine. Medicine is super sus, by the way. I thanked her again, said goodbye to the siblings, and headed back towards the sleeping quarters. But I stopped just before the hallway that led to my room. My eyes wandered towards the big window. The sun had started to set, but I didn't feel tired at all. Likely because I had woken up just recently. And so I decided that the best way to dispel some of my anxiety was to take in some fresh air. I continued on past the hallway and out onto the deck. A salty breeze hit my face. I could hear the soft splashing of waves against the hull of the ship. This place was way emptier than I had expected. Less than a handful of couples and some families were standing near the edge of the railing. One of those couples had their dog with them! Oh no! Not an evil dog! Every now and again, when it heard the call of the seagull, it jerked its head around. Were one of the pairs on this deck perhaps Amy and Lanny's parents? Absent-mindedly, I approached the railing right by the door and looked over. We were very high up. Looking down at the waves hitting the ship hull had an eerily hypnotic effect. Combined with the cool air and the sound of water, it calmed me down. There's May. Hey. I jerked up. Someone was standing at the railing right next to me. Sorry, I didn't mean to surprise you. No worries. It's okay. It looked like she'd been standing there for a while. Did I somehow overlook her? You looked a bit confused, so I wanted to ask if you're alright. Oh, well, I guess I'm a bit lost. I had a feeling she'd be no more understanding than the employees, so I decided not to tell her too much. I'm a bit lost too. It might sound weird, but I'm not sure how I ended up here. Wait, that sounded oddly familiar to my situation, but she seemed to misinterpret my surprised look. I know. It sounds odd. It's just like in dreams. Whenever you try to remember how you got to the place you were dreaming about, you can't. So, I wasn't the only one. There was someone else here who was experiencing the same thing I was. Knowing this lifted my spirits. Just as I was about to tell her about my situation, she slowly perked up. Sorry, I should go. I promised to meet someone. And with that, she hurried off before I could say anything. I was slightly frustrated by the fact that I hadn't been able to confide in her. But I could seek her out tomorrow, I guess. The sun had, meanwhile, almost set. A blood-red stripe was visible on the horizon. I set off back towards my room. With, none, with nothing better to do, I got into bed and tried to sleep. My night was restless. Half of the time I wasn't sure if I was awake or asleep. Weird sounds kept waking me up. By the time the sun had risen, it felt like I had barely slept at all. Today would be the day we'd arrive in a place called Kejamive. Kejamive. That's what I'm going with. Kejamive. From there, I would be able to get back home one way or another. Uh, the hallway got super creepy. I rubbed my eyes as I opened the door that led out into the hallway, but something was wrong. The hallway looked different. Was it shorter? There definitely used to be more doors here. It was as if a new wall and door had appeared where the hallway originally continued to the restaurant area. I approached the new door and tried to turn the doorknob, but it was locked. Slowly, panic set in. Was I trapped in here? Did everyone already leave? There was no way they had left me behind, right? I quickly approached one of the doors in the hallway and knocked. Silence. I tried the next and then the third. All was silent. My heart rate accelerated. I forced myself to calm down and think this through. There was no way they would leave a passenger behind. And even if they did, they would notice sooner or later that I was still in here. The most productive thing to do right now would be checking if the other rooms were open. Maybe I could find a way to make people aware of the fact that I was still in here. I considered which door to try first. Oh, we got 4 options. I don't know why I always save on like the first option and then I give up, but we're gonna save anyway. Should we just start with room 1 and go through to what 1, 2, 3, 4? Let's start with room 1. Oh, the room was unfurnished and windowless. A sole light bulb in the middle of the ceiling illuminated it faintly. I could see about 15 people sitting on the dirty ground. Most of them seemed to be adults, but there were a couple of children cowering next to what I assumed to be their parents. One person from the group, an older man, raised his head as if waking from a dream. The door! It's open! More and more people lifted their heads, and I could feel their stares piercing me. The man was the first to stand up and shuffle towards the door. I stepped aside, but as he tried to cross the threshold, he suddenly stopped. He was frozen in midair. His fingers tightened as if he was exerting great effort. Disappointed, he stepped back. It's no use. He sulked back to his spot and slumped to the floor. The other people in the room lowered their heads, their hopes dashed in an instant. I wasn't sure what was going on, but it was evident that they were in trouble. I quickly walked up to the older man. Hey, do you know what's going on in here? No. We all woke up in this room and are unable to leave. And now it seems like you're stuck here with us as well. My heart stopped for a second and panic slowly started to set in. Was I really trapped in here? I hastily walked to the door and stepped right through. The man stared at me with wide eyes. This means that you, instead of the girl, might be able to help us. Right after he uttered those words, some of the people in the room lifted their heads and looked at me. Some with a look of disbelief, and some with hope in their eyes. So, there was someone else on this ship who could enter and exit this room freely. What did she look like? He started explaining. I soon realized that this description fit someone I knew. Probably May. Yep, it sounded just like the girl I had met on the deck yesterday. So she got into this mess as well. We asked her to help us, but she just laughed and left. That wasn't quite how I remembered her, but it wasn't like I'd known her for a long time. Was her nice appearance just an act? I shifted my attention back to the man before me. There might be people in the other rooms that we could possibly help. Please let me know if you have anything that you don't need, or if you are in need of something. That way I can make sure that everyone gets out of here safely. Some people nodded in agreement, while the majority stayed stoic. A woman stood up, got something from a shelf, and approached me. We found some medicine in this room. We can't give away all of it, but maybe it will help someone. The label was barely legible. I could make out the letters Fun Ite. I still gladly took the bottle and thanked her as she trotted back. Please, if you find any food, bring it to us. Alright, I should head out, but I'll let you know if I find anything. With these words, I stepped back through the door. It closed behind me as if a wind gust had slowly blown through the hallway. Well, hello there! Alright, since we did room 1, let's go to room 2. The door creaked open, and light spilled into a damp room. A crowd of about 40 people occupied the space. Some were sitting on the floor and some were leaning against dirty walls. Oh, it's Frederick! Suddenly, someone in the door darted up and shoved me aside. I bet he's gonna want the medicine I have. It was Frederick, who I had met only briefly while I was chatting with Sabrina. He tried to force himself through the door, but was stopped midair. An invisible force was pushing him back. Some more people approached the door and tried the same, but to no avail. Damn it! Frederick slammed his fist into the wall. I thought this was my chance! Frustrated, he went back to where he was originally sitting. Since I had been in a room like this before, I knew that I was able to travel back and forth. Hey, A few of the people looked up as I started speaking. I should be able to walk in and out. There are also survivors in the other rooms. I might be able to get you some things if you need anything specific. Frederick shut up and walked up to me until he was way too close for comfort. We need food. You'll get some for us, right? Everybody needs food, dude. That sounded more like a threat than a request. Yeah, I can do that if I can find some. I stepped back so I didn't have to smell his sour sweat anymore. Do you happen to have anything here that you don't need? Just in case other people trapped on this ship need anything specific. He looked at me as if I had just made a joke. What? No, even if we had anything, we wouldn't just be giving it away. I looked at him skeptically. Alright, I know what you want. I have a gun with me. If you bring food, I'll trade it for the gun. Oh, good! A gun! I mean, of course he has a gun. He's been evil in all the storylines, so of course he's the one with a gun. I'm not sure how a gun is gonna help me in this situation, unless I just start shooting everybody. A gun? I had never used a firearm before, and I wasn't sure how a gun would help me in this situation. Hesitantly, I agreed to escape Frederick's impatient gaze. Maybe it would come in handy after all. But you'll have to make sure to share the food with the others. Alright, whatever. Just give us something, alright? I don't have anything with me right now, sorry. Then get the hell out of here and find something! He shouted at me and shoved me out of the room. I tripped and fell to the floor as he slammed the door shut in front of my face. That guy was a huge jackass. But I still felt bad for the other people in the room. I'd have to go back there eventually if I wanted to help them. I dusted myself off and turned to the other doors. Okay, let's go to room 3. I entered the dimly lit room. It was desolate, except for a few cans of food and a few water bottles in one of the corners. Okay. There were also two rather young children. Oh, is it Laddie and Amy? One boy and one girl in the middle of the room. It is. As I saw the girl kneeling over the boy's Oh no! Lanny's dead again! Lanny always dies! I feel so bad for Lanny! Oh. She looked up at me with pleading eyes as I rushed to their side. Lanny was covered in sweat. Oh, he's alive! For now. Indicating a heavy fever. His limbs were heavily bruised and he was heaving. I glanced over at Amy. Fortunately, she seemed to be alright. I'm Scott. We met yesterday. You're Amy, right? Yeah. Her voice was shaking. Lanny is sick. Don't worry, Amy. We'll find a way to help him. She hesitantly nodded. That seemed to calm her down a bit. Yeah, I have some medicine on me, but it's called Fun-ite. And I don't know if I want to give a kid who dies in every other storyline some random medicine. Or at least that's what the woman who gave it to me called it. I couldn't really read the label. Aw, man. Aw, man. Aw. I mean, don't give him the medicine, he's gonna die. Give him the medicine, he's going to die. I'm not gonna give him the medicine this time because I don't know what it is. So no. I didn't know if what I had here was proper medicine, so I decided not to risk it. You seem to have some food and water here. Do you think I could take some of it with me? More people are trapped in here and they don't seem to have any. I don't mind. Thank you. She didn't seem very talkative. That was to be expected considering how concerned about her brother she must be. I will let you know once I find something that can help you, okay? Okay. She turned back towards her brother. I walked by the canned food and considered taking some with me. Oh, what? Take all of it. No food left for you, kids. No, I'll take half. But I bet if I take half, I only have enough to give to one of the rooms of people. I don't have enough to give to both. If I take all of it, I probably have enough to give to both rooms, but then I leave the kids with none. I'm gonna take half. I decided to take part of it with me. That way they would still have some left. I left the room and found myself back in the hallway. Okay, let's try room 4. So, I mean, clearly the medicine is for Lanny, but I think it's gonna kill him. So, The room seemed to be empty except for a lonely light bulb hanging from the ceiling. It didn't seem to be working properly, as it barely gave off any light and flickered every now and again. It took my eyes a while to get adjusted to the darkness. And right as they did, I realized that the room wasn't actually as empty as I had thought. A huge dog that I hadn't seen right away because of the poor lighting was just a few feet in front of me. Oh no! And it was determined to rip me into pieces. I hastily stumbled backwards, almost tripping. This was it, I thought. I was going to get mauled. But nothing happened. All I could hear was the rattling of a chain. I slowly opened my eyes and saw that the dog was fortunately chained to the wall per its red collar. It was It was vehemently struggling to get free. After confirming that there was indeed no risk of it getting free, I took a closer look around the room. There were small glittering objects strewn across the ground near the animal. Oh, next to the dog was a body, a badly mutilated one. A foul feeling spread through my stomach. Did the dog do this? The corpse was lying too close to the dog to examine it. Instead, I cautiously inched closer to the object scattered on the ground next to it. I picked one up and examined it. It was a bullet. I had no use for the bullet yet, but if I did in the future, I'd know where to find one. When I took another look at the area behind the dog, I saw that there was an opening in the wall. It seemed to lead into another section of the ship. This was the first time since getting trapped in here that I had seen a possible escape route. The only problem was the furious animal blocking it. Okay, so we've got medicine, we've got a gun, and we've got food. Now, the medicine is a bit sus. Feeding the dog the food could distract it enough for us to get past, but then we leave everybody else behind and nobody gets food. Putting the medicine in the food and feeding it to the dog might make the dog pass out, and then we're safer, but still it might kill the dog, and then nobody gets any food also. Oh, there isn't like a horrible third option where we can shoot the dog, is there? I couldn't think out of a way to get around the dog without getting mauled. So I decided to retreat for now and look for a way to get past it without getting myself into danger. Suddenly, I felt the floor beneath me vibrate with increasing intensity. What was happening? An earthquake? The intensity of the rumbling increased, and soon I was thrown from side to side. I struggled to stabilize myself, but ultimately failed. My back hit the wall hard, and I fell to the ground. I rolled into a ball, trying to protect my head as I slid along the floor. The sound of metal breaking apart filled my ears. It was deafening. And then it stopped, just as suddenly as it had started. I stayed in a fetal position for a while longer, fearing that everything would start shaking again. But it seemed like it was finally over. Were the people inside the rooms all right? Had we perhaps run ashore? Would someone come and rescue us now that we were on land? A myriad of questions filled my mind. My eyes fell on the locked door to the hallway. Something about it was off. It was barely noticeable, but it seemed like the door was slightly skewed. I quickly approached it, turned the doorknob, and pulled on it. It was still stuck, but it did feel like I would be able to pry it open with more force. And so I tugged again and again, each time the door inching more and more open until the door flew open and I was thrown back. A strong gust of wind hit my face. I reflexively closed my eyes. I celebrated internally. Finally, I would be able to get out of here and look for help. Finally, this nightmare would end. But I was mistaken. What I expected to see beyond the door was the hall and the restaurant from the day before. But my expectations were utterly betrayed. The ocean, a huge body of water, was in the distance. As I looked down, I saw that we were hundreds of meters above ground. How? How were we moving on land? What shocked me the most was that I could make out thin, long legs supporting the ship. Their movements were so smooth that it felt like we were floating. It was as if something inside, it was as if I was inside something that was alive. My eyes wandered across the rest of the ship below me. It must have broken in half. The form of the tear was quite odd, though. It looked like a huge bite mark, as if something even bigger than this cruise ship had ripped into it. But that couldn't be true. There was no animal big enough that could have bitten off such a huge chunk of the ship. As the creature I was on made a sharp turn, the ocean drifted out of view. My grip on the doorframe tightened. I feared I would get thrown off. Then it stopped. My eyes widened in shock as I saw the scene before me. The view was surreal. What? What the? Well, there's a normalish looking city. What? One single town was standing in the middle of a wasteland. Wandering through that wasteland were enormous, outlandish creatures amongst giant mushrooms. They looked like something straight out of a nightmare. I wiped my eyes, trying to dispel the illusion before me, but it wouldn't go away. My breathing became ragged and my chest contracted painfully. I had to accept this as my reality. In a trance, I stepped away from the doorframe. A wave of rage overcame me as I lashed out and kicked the wall. A dull pain spread through my foot, but I barely noticed it. Tears started to well up in my eyes. Was there even any reason for me to go on? Why shouldn't I just go back to my room, lie down in my bed and stay there? I leaned against the wall and stared at the ceiling. My feet were shaking, but I was finally starting to calm down. I knew that getting angry wouldn't help. What I was seeing wasn't logical in any way. It went against everything I knew. I was a scientist, so not being able to understand this place frustrated me. Above all, it scared me. But giving up wasn't the right thing to do. It wasn't the logical choice if I really wanted this nightmare to end. I'd escape sooner or later and get myself into a better position eventually. That's what I hoped, at least. This ship may still be suspended high above ground, but there must be some way to get down. I would figure out what to do once I was out of here. I closed the door and slowly let my eyes drift over the 4 doors in front of me. So we have medicine, a gun, and food. Um, I don't want to give Frederick food. I mean, I feel sorry for the other people in Frederick's room, but Frederick's a dick, so let's go to room 1 and give them some food. I entered the room for a second time. Even though I hadn't been awake for that long, everything seemed different. The faces of the people here had darkened considerably. I spotted the old man that I had talked to not long ago and approached him, but he didn't even look up as I greeted him. He just sat there with a blank expression on his face, not even moving an inch. Hey, is everything okay? No response. As I looked around, I noticed that none of the others had moved from their spot, nor had any of them looked up since I had entered the room. I tried to talk to them, but they wouldn't respond. It was as if they had suddenly turned into statues. Their eyes were devoid of any signs of life. I tried shaking them awake, but they didn't react. Hello? Can anyone hear me? I cried out into the room in desperation, but my words echoed back emptily. What was going on? What had happened to them? Even though I was surrounded by people, I felt alone. I I missed the last one. I scanned the dim room with my eyes until I finally saw something in one of the corners move ever so slightly. My heart started to race as I stepped closer. I couldn't quite make out what had made the sound, but it was probably a human, right? Grrr. It made a gurgling sound, and I hesitated for a bit. Horrific images of all kinds of creatures popped into my mind. I shook my head and tried to get them out of my head. After a few more cautious steps, I was finally close enough to see it. It was a girl. Oh, it's me. No, it wasn't just some girl. It was the same girl that I had ran into on the deck. Her body was limp, but as opposed to the other people in this room, she seemed more or less conscious. I cautiously picked her up and made my way towards the door. The words of the old man echoed in my ears. He told me that she was able to pass through the door just like I was. But why hadn't she left this room by herself? Did something happen that she got caught up in? And how did she get in here anyway? I would have noticed her in the hallway. I turned towards my room. It had a bed and she would probably be safe there. Opening the door while carrying a person was no easy feat, but I finally succeeded and put her on her bed. Home. Her facial expression changed from one of pain to one of relaxation. She instantly fell asleep. I debated whether I should wake her up and try to get some information out of her. But it didn't seem like she was in any condition to answer questions. Seeing her sleep so soundly made me want to take a break as well. But I pushed myself to step out of the room and back into the hallway. I still needed to see if there was any way to get out of here. I mean, we could go into room 2, but I don't want to give Frederick food. Frederick sucks. I kind of want to see how the kids are doing, but I don't think Lanny's going to be doing well, and I didn't give him medicine. Which was the worst idea, probably, but at the same time, giving him medicine would have been a bad idea, too. Hmm. So don't mind me, I'm just, trying to do something. I am just trying to do something. Dun, 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 dun. Um, 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 um. Don't mind me. Oh, that'll probably do. Okay, yeah, why not? Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm gonna go check the kids. They were in room 3, right? I was worried about those two. All kinds of terrible scenarios had popped into my head. I glanced around the room. They fortunately seemed to be in more or less a blah 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 blah. They fortunately seem to be I can't read anymore. They fortunately seem to still be more or less okay. I approached them. Amy was still huddled over Lanny's body. Her face was twisted with worry. His condition seemed to have worsened, which became more and more apparent as I got closer. Spots on his arms and limbs seemed to be bruised. Some kind of black ulcer similar to buds grew out of some of them. Oh no, I should have given him the medicine. I was sure he wouldn't last long without medicine. Amy looked up at me with sad eyes. I had some medicine on me. Or at least that's what the woman who gave it to me called it. I couldn't really read the label. Oh no, should I give him the medicine or not? I mean, he's gonna die without the medicine, but I don't. Oh, there are so many options in this route. So many options in this route. I'm gonna. Okay. I can't not give him the medicine, even if it. He, nah, game. Alright. Yes. It seemed like he would die if nothing was done. I decided to take the risk and administer the medicine to him. I have some medicine with me. He should be alright in no time if he takes this. Yeah, right. We don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that, Scott. I had sounded more confident than I actually was in the hopes of cheering Amy up. I made sure that he was conscious enough to drink it. Then I carefully lifted his head and put the bottle to his mouth. He slowly gulped it down and I set his head back down. Will he be okay now? I think so, but it will take time for the medicine to take effect. All that was left to do was hope that what I gave him would help against his fever. I should get going again. I'll come back soon to check on you. Okay, please don't take so long this time. Long? I hadn't been out for that long, but it was understandable that she didn't want to be left all alone. She was likely exaggerating. I walked by the canned food and considered taking some with me. Why, Gabe? Why are you doing this to me? No, I'm gonna leave some with the kids. I decided against taking any. I left the room and found myself back in the hallway. I'm gonna go to the dog room and I hope that maybe the dog's asleep. As I entered the room, the dog instantly started barking and tugging on its chain. Nope, it's not asleep. The hole in the wall behind it still seemed to be the only way out of this part of the ship. Once again, I went through my options to see what I could do to get past it. In the end, I still couldn't think of any way to get around it, and so I had no other choice but to simply retreat once again. That means I have to go to Frederick. Stupid Frederick. The first thing I did upon entering the room was taking a quick glance around to see if Frederick was nearby. To my detriment, He was. He jumped up as he saw me come in. Hey, did you bring anything useful with you? He didn't even offer so much as a greeting. I do have food. Oh, I don't have the gun yet. I have to actually trade food for the gun. I do have food on me. Maybe I could trade it for the weapon. Sure. But the only thing I can think of doing with the gun is shooting the dog, and I don't want to shoot the dog. I decided to give the food to Frederick. It was probably a good idea to have a weapon with me in case I run into something out there. I have some food with me. I could give it to you and you could share it with the others. Frederick took a quick look around just to make sure that no one was watching. Frederick is such a dick. Then he took a gun from his pocket. Here, take it quickly. Don't tell anyone you gave this to me, okay? I was definitely not okay with keeping the food a secret and was about to protest. But he had already taken the food and shoved me out the door into the hallway. He threw the gun at my feet and slammed the door shut. What a jerk, I thought. Well, at least I had the gun now. I'd never really used one before, but I've seen my fair share of crime movies. We have to shoot the fucking dog, don't we? And I hate myself that I know that I think we have to shoot the dog. There was a game, Downfall, I want to say. I don't know why my brain is just like, it's because of Silent Hill and Downpour and Downfall, but yeah, it was Downfall. And there was a solution to a puzzle where you had to gut a cat to get a key, and I got stuck on that for so long because it didn't occur to me that the puzzle solution would be to gut a cat. I hate myself that I automatically know that we have to shoot the dog. How hard could shooting a gun be, right? I checked the magazine to see how many bullets were in it. It was empty. Of course it was empty. That's why he had handed it over so easily. Otherwise he could have threatened me with it instead of trading it in. How could I have been fooled this easily? Frustrated, I put it away and turned towards the other doors. Alright, let's go get bullets, and hopefully not shoot the dog. Just like the last time, the dog instantly started barking. But one thing was different. Its barking seemed weaker than before. I slowly approached the part of the room where it was chained, but all I saw was a miserable creature. It was weakly lying on the ground, only able to bark and growl at me. I had no idea what had caused it to be like this, considering that I hadn't been gone for that long. This might be my chance, I thought to myself. But as I approached the hole, the dog managed to snatch at me and almost bit me. I bet giving it food is one of the options, but now I have no food. Apparently it was still capable of hurting me in this state. I had a gun and there were bullets next to the dog. No, I should have given the dog the food and not given. Oh. 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 Game, why you gotta do this to me? I mean, we gotta do both eventually. Oh, I don't want to shoot the dog. I don't want to shoot the dog, but I already gave Frederick the food, so I would have to go back. I could go back, take the food from the kids, and try and feed the dog. But I have a feeling just feeding the dog isn't gonna help. I think I need to mix some medicine in with the food to feed the dog, and I already gave the medicine away. Okay, I'm not gonna attack the dog. I'm gonna see if I can do this another way. This might be a bad idea. I didn't feel too enthusiastic about the prospect of killing an animal. Also, I've never handled a gun before. Maybe I could find another way. I thought about running past and forcing my way into the hole in the wall, but decided against it. Um, Room 3, let's take the rest of the kids' food. I quickly made my way towards the middle of the room to find out whether the boy's condition had improved. The medicine couldn't actually have cured him this quickly, but his fever might at least have gone down a bit. And indeed, he didn't seem to have gotten much worse, but there were still weird black ulcers on his skin. They oddly reminded me of mushrooms. Amy, on the other hand, didn't seem to be doing well at all. She was sitting next to him, staring into space. It was as if she hadn't noticed me coming in. Hey, Amy, are you alright? Her head barely moved in my direction. Scott? It was almost as if she didn't really recognize me. I grew concerned. Yeah, it's me. Scott. Are you alright? She didn't reply. Maybe she was just tired. I couldn't blame her. This whole situation was pretty exhausting. Especially for someone as young as her. Where have you been? Her voice was almost inaudible. I was searching for a way out of here. Don't worry, I'm sure I'll find one soon. She continued to stare at the floor with a blank expression. I just need more time. I'll have you and your brother out of here soon. She turned away. It didn't seem like she was up for a conversation. It was probably in her interest that I left and continued searching for an exit. I left her be. I walked by the canned food and considered taking some with me. Alright. Sorry, kids. Oh my god. I'm literally like, like, it's like, do I take the food and leave the kids? First, I gave half of the food to a selfish, horrible person who isn't even going to share it. So good fuck up there. Now I'm going to take food from children just so I don't have to kill a dog. I decided to take the rest of the food with me. They'd be fine for a bit without it, and this would give me some trading leverage, which in turn could help them if I could find some medicine to trade the food in for. But I couldn't help feeling terrible, even if my decision seemed logical to me. I left the room and found myself back in the hallway. Alright, can we feed the dog? An unexplainable feeling overcame me, a feeling that this was a point of no return. Oh my god, it's the last room I can go into! I mean, okay, I guess. I don't know. As I entered the room, I instantly felt that something was off. There was no barking. As soon as my eyes got accustomed to the darkness, I saw why. The dog was dead. Oh, the dog died! No! I was too slow! It was lying on the ground in front of the hole in the wall, motionless. Its tongue was hanging out of its mouth. As I stepped closer to confirm that it was truly dead, I picked up a faint, foul stench. I cautiously poked it, but there was no reaction. It was definitely dead. So it died anyway! Died anyway! I stole food from children and it died anyway. Somehow it had died without any apparent reason. I felt bad for it, but now I could finally walk past it without being afraid of getting bitten. Slowly, while trying not to step on it, I approached the hole. I stared into the hole. The hole stared back. Before I let the others know, I had to make sure that whatever was on the other side was safe. The hole was rather small and I had trouble fitting through, but I succeeded eventually. After a while, I noticed that something was off. The hole seemed to go on for longer than it should. I expected to have already come out in another part of the ship, but it just went on and on. Oh, and here we go, we're passing out. Then suddenly a wave of fatigue came over me. It was as if I'd stepped into the veil. The air had gotten heavier and my breathing became more ragged. So to those who didn't see the previous two streams, this is how the game always ends. Wow, I accomplished nothing. All I did was give a selfish dude some food and accomplished nothing. I saved no one. A throbbing pain pulsed through my arms. It was as if something had stabbed me. I tried to turn around, but I had already become too weak. My feet gave in and my vision darkened. I could feel a presence near me. Before I could find out who it was, my consciousness faded. Man, I accomplished nothing! I want to see if the music has changed. So, when I did door one, music appeared. When I did door what? What? Where are my three doors? So when I did door one or door two, the music appeared. When I did door one, the music had more parts to it. I was thinking door three, the music would have more parts, but um, I'm stuck at a single door. Oh no, what's going on? How many times does this make now? Never thought his presence would make such a huge difference. Seems like his use is nearing its end. No need to keep him around then. I wonder how long it'll take until I find another one. Letting it end like this would be quite boring though. And he did interact with her quite a lot. Maybe I should do one last experiment. What is going on? I'll send him off with a bang. He deserves it for helping so much. Alright, time to go make preparations. Squelching! Lots of squelching! What? What was. My head felt like it was splitting open. What was I doing? I'd seen something. A nightmare? No, it had been real, hadn't it? The pain was nearly unbearable. Images that seemed to have no relation to each other flashed through my mind. A plant, a dark room full of people, distorted faces, an ocean. Two children, a blood trail, a pack of cats, a knife. Pain. My head felt as it was about to burst, and then it was over. The pain was gone. I steadied myself. The images I had seen, were they hallucinations or were they memories? My mind was all jumbled up. I called out as I left the bedroom, but no one answered. I approached the front door. My hand touched the cold doorknob. Sweat started to form on my arm. Was I afraid? Of what? I swallowed hard. My hand finally moved and I turned the doorknob. As I stepped outside, I noticed that everything looked normal. My breathing slowed. I hadn't noticed how tense my body had become. I stepped into a narrow alleyway that seemed to be leading into a busier part of the town. It was bustling with life. Something about the people walking by was off, but it was hard to put a finger on it. I was too far away. I decided to avoid the main street for now and instead went the other direction. My instinct told me that was the right thing to do. Right as I turned into another alleyway, I saw something from the corner of my eyes. Had someone just entered one of the buildings? I hadn't turned my head quick enough. This brilliant white structure seemed out of place amidst the grey houses that were lining the street. As I trotted closer, I noticed that it looked awfully familiar to the lab I had worked in. No, it was the lab. What was it doing here? I stood in front of it for a while, dumbfounded. But there was no mistaking it. This was my lab. The easiest way to make sure was entering it. The interior looked exactly like I remembered it. No one was at the reception, meaning no one to manually open the door. But I fortunately still knew the passcode. I made my way upstairs and walked towards Section M. On the way, I tried to keep my eyes and ears peeled in case one of my colleagues was around. But the place seemed to be totally deserted. That wasn't the only thing that was bothering me, though. Everything was oddly clean. Most people would likely not think that this was something to be concerned about. The problem was that there was no way someone had been able to find the time to tidy up the lab. Not only had we lost a big part of our staff, no one was in the right mood to bother keeping things clean. As I was contemplating what this might mean, I finally reached my destination, my office. The door was slightly ajar. Did someone break in? I cautiously opened it. The room was empty. My desk was gone, my file cabinets were gone, even the wallpaper was gone. What had happened here? The only thing present was a single sheet of paper in the middle of the room. I hesitantly walked towards it. The door behind me suddenly slammed shut and I jerked around. Was it the wind or did someone slam it shut? But there was no door. I stood there in disbelief. Then I slowly turned around and looked back at the sheet of paper on the ground. My hands began to shake. The closer I got to the piece of paper, the worse their trembling became. I hesitantly let my eyes wander over the red writing. Thank you for participating in my experiments. Ah! What? Wait, is that two Mays? What? What? What just happened? Oh my god, what just happened? Let me back into the game so I can do all the other different routes for the third door. And then tell me what the hell just happened, because that looked like two Mays. One May was running experiments on me, and those experiments I assume were the dreams I was seeing. But then why was the other May going, gasp, oh no? Oh my god. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I gotta get back in. I gotta get back in. I really hope it lets me back in. I gotta get back into the third door. And maybe not give Frederick food this time. Congratulations on finishing Mycorrhiza. I sincerely hope you've enjoyed the experience. I don't think I finished it. I have enjoyed it though. Before you ascend to the title screen, there are a few things that you should know. On the title screen, you'll notice a new menu called Extra. Within it, you'll find post-game content and additional information about this game's story. You will also have the option to replay the intro and outro and view achievements. We've done our best to make Mycorrhiza as bug-free, typo-free, and enjoyable as possible, but you might still encounter some bugs or suggestions on how to improve the game. If you do, then please don't hesitate to fill out our feedback form. You can get the soundtrack for free. Oh, that's cool. I like the soundtrack to this game. If anything new happens, you'll hear about it on our Twitter. Yes, please follow them on their Twitter. I have done that. Please follow them. This this continues to be, because I'm going back in. This continues to be a great game. I really think they deserve all the support. Please support them. Feel free to tweet us if you create anything like Let's Plays or fan art. I've already done that. Once again, thanks for sticking with us. So yeah, there's extra now, but I don't want to do extra. I want to go back into this door. Oh, there's gotta be like a secret third ending. There's gotta be a secret third ending. A secret second ending rather, because that didn't tell me anything. Okay, so let's forward through. Why isn't it forwarding? There we go. Okay, so let's. What should we do? What should we do? I mean, we have to go into all the rooms of like one time. Room 1 didn't seem to want to have anything to do with us when we went back in. So I don't know if going back into room 1. Should we give Lanny the medicine this time? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, and then... should I take all the food? Half the food, all the food? Half the food, all the food. I think I have to... No, I'm just gonna take half. I decided to take part of it with me. And then we'll go into room 4. But room 4, we can't do anything with the dog until we have a... Oh, but maybe we can feed it. Oh no, it didn't give me the option to feed it. I screwed up. I screwed up. I definitely screwed up. I think I had to mix the medicine with the food. Alright, so let's try getting the gun, and let's just try the horrible, 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 horrible... Alright. I mean, we don't need to attack the dog using the gun. I'm sure there's a better way of going about this, but it's one of the options we haven't done, so... I quickly snatched up some of the bullets that were lying near the dog and loaded the gun. It felt rather heavy in my hands as I pointed it at the creature. The dog had stopped barking and was glaring at me with mad eyes. It was as if it knew what the object in my hand was for. My breath was getting heavier. My heartbeat accelerated. My finger twitched and... Oh no! No! Silence suddenly engulfed me. It was soon replaced by a high-pitched sound. I had instinctively closed my eyes. I slowly opened them. A red puddle started tainting the area around the dog's corpse. I looked at the gun in my hands and a wave of disgust engulfed me. I forcefully threw it into a corner of the room. Immediately, I had started regretting what I had done to the animal. Cautiously, I stepped closer and watched it. I wanted to confirm whether it was really dead. Its body lay on the ground, motionless. It was truly dead, without a doubt. I stepped over it and walked towards the hole in the wall. What I had done weighed heavily on my conscience. I stared into the hole. I think this is the same now. Yeah. I don't think that gave me a different ending or anything. An extra achievement or... Okay. Let's try not giving the kid the medicine and see if I can mix the food with the medicine and give it to the dog. Because I haven't come across a key yet. There's got to be a key somewhere, and I haven't found it. Because maybe the dog's just hungry and it dies out of hunger? Maybe? Okay, so we gotta go to room 1. Room 2. Yeah, Frederick. Room 3. No, sorry, Lanny. Take half. Room 4. Okay, let's see if it lets me mix the medicine with the food. No, it doesn't. Oh, no. Okay, let's go back and see what happens if I just don't give Lanny the medicine. No. Take none. Let's go back and see if what happens to him. I quickly remember when I could already tell from a distance that even more wounds had opened up. On top of that, it was as if some mushroom-like plants were sprouting out on top of them. Amy didn't look well either. She was just sitting there next to him staring into space. It was as if she hadn't even noticed me coming in. Hey, Amy, are you alright? Her head barely moved in my direction. Scott? It was almost as if she didn't. Oh, I've done this bit. Take none. So the dog is gonna die either way. Either I shoot the dog, or the dog just dies. Can I do anything for these people? Oh yeah, I gotta get May out. Okay, I saved May. I don't want to shoot the dog. I don't want to give Frederick food. He doesn't deserve it. Maybe room 1 again. I had seen some movement out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned my head, all I could see was a blank wall. As I stepped further in, I noticed a scratching sound. It was as if something was clawing at the wall, but I couldn't make out anything that could have been causing it. There was barely any movement at all. Everyone seemed to still be frozen in place. I stood in the doorframe and strained my ears. It was getting louder. I considered leaving, but curiosity overcame me. Slowly, I stepped into the room. It was then that I saw someone who still seemed to be awake. Their slight twitching was barely noticeable in the dim light. I considered calling out to them, but something told me not to, and so I cautiously inched towards them. But the closer I got, the more apparent it became that something was off. I froze. Their head. Ah! Alright. Alright, good. Brains, melting flesh. Just what you want to see. It almost looked as if their face was melting off their bones. Their eyes were dark and hollow. I took a few hasty steps back, but they fortunately didn't seem to react to my presence at all. The scratching seemed to have gotten even louder. I noticed something lying on the floor not too far away from the person I had just checked on. I hesitated, but my fearful glances were answered with complete silence and lack of any movement. I was still safe, probably. I shifted towards the thing on the ground and slowly picked it up. It was a sheet of paper that looked like it was ripped from a diary or a log. If I was the leader of this operation, I'd fire anyone who let ethics get in the way. Sacrifices always need to be made to ensure humanity's future. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll just continue my research in private since it's not like there aren't enough subjects inside the zone. I couldn't make heads or tails of the note. I was missing too much context. The scratching got even louder. Something was definitely not right here. I should probably get out of here. I let my eyes wander over the room one last time and made my way back outside. Where's the key? There's gotta be a key somewhere. So these people won't take my food. The dog won't take my food. Fine, I'll take the gun. Or I could just do no. See what happens if I say no. Considering how rude Frederick has been to me so far, I didn't really feel like giving him anything, though I did feel bad for the others. But the people in the other rooms might need it more, so I decided to keep it for myself for now. I don't have anything with me, sorry. Still, how incompetent can you be? Don't come back until you found something. He shouted at me yet again and shoved me out of the room. Did he actually think that I'd want to give him any food after all this? But there were other innocent people in the room who were in need of help, and I really wanted to help them. I wonder if you can get the gun early, come back and shoot Frederick in the head. I expected Frederick to jump towards me and demand to know whether or not I had any food with me, but to my surprise he didn't. He was nowhere to be seen. Instead, another man, as if awoken from a trance, jumped up and stormed towards me. I tried to step out of the way, but he almost tackled me and grabbed me by my collar. You! You have food and water. Give them to us. I struggled to get him off me, but he kept clinging on to me. His strength was surprising considering how frail he looked. Let me go! Give it to me. I bet you're just keeping it all to yourself. As I struggled with him, a pungent metallic stench hit my nose. I finally managed to throw him off me. His body hit the ground. He laid there for a bit, gasping in frustration. Then he crawled back to where he had been sitting before attacking me. While catching my breath, I took a look around the room. Everyone was sitting in their own corner, eyes fixed on the ground. They looked more famished than the last time I had seen them, and the whereabouts of Frederick was also still a mystery to me. I approached a woman sitting in one of the far back corners of the room, but she averted her gaze as I asked her if she had seen where he had gone. He's not here anymore. That was all she was willing to tell me. I had no idea what had happened here, and it didn't seem like I'd find out by asking them. Another wave of the pungent smell hit my nose, and I took a few steps back. What was that? It almost made me gag. Not wanting to spend any more time here than necessary, I left the room. So I can't give them food! Mm. The only person I can give food to is Frederick for the gun, and he's gone. Let's go check on the kids. Oh no, the door wouldn't budge at first. How did it get stuck? It was totally fine the last time I tried to enter it. I started pulling on it with all my might. Eventually, I was able to pry it open. Oh no! What had blocked my attempt to enter the room were vines and mushrooms growing on the ground. Where had they come from? My question was quickly answered as I pushed through them. Lanny's body seemed to be floating in the middle of the room, but I quickly realized that it was just being supported by some of the vines. Lanny never gets a good break. Lanny just always suffers. Poor Lanny. It looked like they had sprouted out of him. How was this possible? Where was Amy? I couldn't see her anywhere. Amy, are you in here? Are you all right? No reply. She had to be. There was no way she could. My eyes darted around in a panic until I finally spotted her. It was Amy, but my heart sank into my stomach. There had been no way to escape the expanse of vines, and so she must have been entangled in them, and then something wet slid down my cheek, but I barely noticed it. I hadn't known them for that long, but I still felt responsible. I was their chance to escape this hell, but I had let them down. Shaking my head in disbelief, I stumbled backwards out of the room. The door fell shut in front of me. The horrible scene had burned itself into my mind. I was on the verge of losing hope, but I steadied myself and turned away from the door. Even if I wasn't able to save Amy and Lanny anymore, I might be able to help other people trapped in here. I shouldn't give up just yet. I had to postpone mourning their death until later. With a heavy heart, I went back into the middle of the hallway. Well, I think by now the dog's dead, so going into room 4 will just end. Room 3 we know is over, so room 1 and room 2. Let's try room 1. I grabbed the door handle, but then remembered what I had experienced last time I was in the room. Was it really a good idea to go back in? Though technically my life hadn't been in any danger. Maybe I should check the room again, just in case. I'd just stay in the doorframe. It wasn't like anything beside me could leave this room anyway. Oh! The door slowly creaked open and I glanced inside the room. The people that were here were gone. The room was completely empty. In their place was a black substance. Was that blood? Then the scratching started. It seemed to be coming from every direction at once. As I tried to make out its source, I noticed something at the very far end of the room. There were ripples on the wall. It almost looked like the wall was made out of water. Slowly, something started to push itself through the thick, liquid-like texture. Uh-oh. First it was a single hand. Then more and more arms started to appear. All of them grasped empty air. All the while the scratching was getting louder and louder. I tried to shield my ears with my hands. My instincts told me to run, but I was frozen in place. I couldn't avert my eyes from the scene before me. Slowly, feet started to reach through the wall, and then finally their whole body was free. The scratching had stopped. I recognized the clothes of some of the creatures in front of me. These were the people who had been trapped in this room. But their heads, they weren't human anymore. Their faces were distorted beyond recognition. As I stared at them in disbelief, I noticed that none of them were moving. They were just staring at me. Then one of them slowly lifted their arm, grasping at the air, and started to slowly walk towards me. It almost looked as if it was pleading. Then the others followed suit. I started to feel a mixture of terror and pity. But as they got closer and closer, my terror grew stronger and stronger. What would they do once they reached me? They definitely weren't human anymore. Were they about to attack me? My head began to spin and I took a few hasty steps back, almost tripping on my way out of the room. There was nothing I could do for them. I was too late. If only I could have found a way out before they turned into that. Frustrated and with a heavy heart, I slammed the door shut. So door 1 is screwed, door 3 is screwed. Let's try door 2 again. I felt really uneasy about entering this room. Was it because of the way everyone had acted last time I was here? Or was it because of the smell? With a foul feeling in my stomach, I stepped over the threshold. An even worse stench than last time hit my face, stealing my breath and making my eyes tear up. It was enough to make me want to vomit, and I knew that if I stayed in here any longer, I would. Oh. Uh-huh. I took a look around the room through my teary eyes. There were piles of something. While quickly covering my nose, I wiped my watering eyes and took a closer look. There were big mountains of clothes scattered throughout the room. Some kinds of insects were buzzing around them, but there was also another big, red pile. At first I thought it was flesh, but as I got closer, I realized that it was mostly organs. I quickly stepped back towards a wall, but as I did, I almost stumbled over something. I let out a shout as I tried to regain my balance. I glanced at the floor to see what I had stepped on. It was a woman who was leaning on the wall, but her appearance was off. Her stomach was horribly bloated, as if it was about to burst at any moment. Right next to her was a knife that was covered in blood. It didn't seem like she was killed with it, as I didn't see any stab wounds on her. Instead, she was covered in many small bruises. Oh no, is she all gonna turn into a mushroom too? Either way, she was undeniably dead, even if I couldn't make out why. This whole room was bizarre. Piles of clothes, a pile of organs, and a woman with a bloated stomach. Can we use the knife to cut open her stomach? Maybe there'll be a key in there? Maybe we are gonna go all down full on this bitch? What had happened here? I quickly came to the conclusion that there was no use thinking about it, and I wanted to get out of here as soon as possible. The stench was killing me. Oh no! Take the dagger! Trying to force the horrible image of what I had seen out of my mind, I decided not to enter the room again. I turned towards the other doors and, with a heavy heart, contemplated what to do next. So he's not going to go into room 1 again, right? No. 2? No. 3? No. So we have to go to door 4. We have no other choice. As I entered the room, oh, the dog's still alive! The dog instantly started barking and tugging on its chain. The hole in the wall behind it still seemed to be the only way out of this part of the ship. Once again, I went through my options to see what I could do to get past it. In the end, I still couldn't think of any way to get around it. So the whole idea of just feeding it is lost on you? I guess we just have to go in. Yeah. Yeah. Enter. Okay. Okay. See, there's gotta be a key. I haven't come across anything resembling a key. I feel like I reached the ending of each of those individual doors and didn't find a key. So let's get the medicine, give the medicine to Lanny, see if we can at least get Lanny and Amy a good ending. So room 1. Screw you, Frederick. Let's go straight to room 3. Yes, give him the medicine. Let's take half the food still. And let's go into room 3 again. I've done this. Okay, I've given Lanny some medicine, so we should be doing a little better. How is your brother feeling? Amy did seem to be much more calmer than last time. His head doesn't feel as hot anymore. He's been sleeping for a long time, though. For a second, I considered the worst, but his pulse was fortunately still there. He did seem to be in a better state, and I was hopeful that he would get up soon with enough rest. How about you, Amy? Are you holding up all right? Yeah, I think so. I should get going again. I'll come back soon to check on you and Lanny again. Okay, I hope you won't have to be away for so long again. Long? Okay, I've done this bit. She was likely exaggerating. Yeah, take none. Leave them with food. I'm gonna try and see if I can save the kids this time. Let's go back in. I was eager to see if the boy's condition had improved. I didn't think that the medicine could have actually worked this quickly, but his fever might have at least gone down a bit. But to my surprise, he was already up and about. Amy was leaning on a wall while Lanny was frantically running around and knocking on the walls. They didn't seem to have heard me come in. I don't think there's a secret exit anywhere. You should probably save your energy till they come and save us. You know how long it's been already, right? If they wanted to save us, they would have done so forever ago. I bet I can find something. There has to be a way out of here. Unfazed by his sister's advice, he continued to search every inch of the wall. Amy seemed to finally spot me and jogged towards me. Scott, did you manage to find a way out? The boy turned around and hastily came closer as well. You're Scott? Amy told me you helped me with that medicine. Thank you a lot. Don't worry about it. And to answer your question, Amy, unfortunately not yet. The hope drained from their expectant eyes as I said that. I wish I could have brought them good news. But never mind that. I'm surprised that you're better already, Lanny. Already? I don't think any sickness has ever kept me down longer than this one. I practically slept through a whole week after you gave me the medicine. Oh. So serious. I mean, I got the idea that time was passing between the doors, but a whole week? Huh? A week? Yeah, good thing we had enough food and water. It seemed like they were serious. I was pretty sure that it hadn't been that long since the last time I had seen them. Have you really been trapped in here for a week? Yep. That didn't make any sense. But I was feeling so glad about Lanny being alright again that I decided to postpone my questions about this. Getting them out as quickly as possible had top priority. So, what about your parents? Were they with you two when this whole thing happened? No, they were somewhere on the ship, but not in the same room as us. I see. Can you tell me what they look like? I can let them know that you're safe if I meet them. They proceeded to give me a detailed description of their parents, and I did my best to memorize everything. So, you came here as a group of 6. You, your parents, Sabrina, and Frederick, right? Oh yeah, Sabrina hasn't showed up again. Yeah, and our dog came too. You can probably recognize our dad pretty quickly. Oh, I bet their dad was the dead body next to the dog. Yeah. He's a bit odd since he always carries bullets with him as a lucky charm, but no actual gun. He always says, I don't think he needs to know. Lanny gave her an irritated look. Oh, I almost forgot. Did you meet a girl while looking around? She wears a hoodie and a skirt. That description sounded oddly familiar. Could they mean the girl I had met on the ship deck? I hadn't seen her since yesterday, however. Can't say that I have. She was here shortly before you came. She was really nice and told us that she'd find a way to help Lanny, but she never came back. I'm worried about her. I want to go home with Mom and Dad. Well, your dad's dead. I don't know about your mom. Her words were almost inaudible, but both me and Lanny picked it up. Don't worry, we'll get out of here soon. I felt really bad for them, but I wasn't sure what I could do to help. Staying here and lending them my company would be a way, but then I couldn't search for a way to get them out. Maybe I could look for their family first to make sure that they knew their children were safe. But I was afraid of how many days will have passed the next time I'd enter this room. The flow of time seemed to be peculiar in this place. I came to the conclusion that I had to keep on searching for a way out if I wanted to help them. I should probably go now. I'll let your parents know that you two are alright if I meet them. You two sit tight and stick together until I come back, alright? I'll have found a way to get you out by then, don't worry. Oh, and let us know if you find our dog. I didn't shoot him in a previous playthrough. He's a Doberman with a red collar. Okay, I'll let you know if I see it. With that, I turned around and stepped outside. Okay, this is when the floor vibrates. And then we see the crazy outside. So let's go find the dog. And then go back and tell the kids. I thought about checking on them once again, but I was about to open the door. I realized, what good would that do? I still hadn't found an exit. Do I have to shoot the dog? Is that like the only way? Oh, okay. I quickly walked past Frederick and approached the woman. Frederick sat back down frustrated, clenching his fist angrily. Hey, are you by any chance the mother of Amy and Lanny? Her eyes shot open. Have you seen them? Are they okay? Yes, they're all right. They're in another room and have enough food and water to survive for quite a while. Oh, thank God. She looked very relieved, but I knew that she wouldn't be able to fully stop worrying about them until they were back together. I quickly glanced around to make sure that Frederick wasn't looking our way. Then I got the cans of food out and held them to her. Here, they should get you by for some time. She looked a bit confused, but still happily took the cans and hid them under her mantle. Are you sure that you wouldn't rather trade the food for his gun? She pointed at Frederick, but I shook my head. No, I'd rather let you have the food. I'm not sure if I can trust him to share it properly. All right, but take this with you. She pulled out something shiny from her mantle and handed it to me. Oh, she was the one with the bloated stomach, so now I have a knife. It's probably not quite as useful as a gun, but it's better than nothing. It might help you. I hesitantly took it and put it away. Thank you. I'll make sure to let everyone else know once I found a way out. With that, I bid my farewells and walked towards the exit. But before I could step out of the door, I was rudely confronted by Frederick. Hey, what did you two talk about? Nothing. I really didn't feel like dealing with him, so I turned around and kept walking towards the door. He forcefully grabbed my arm, preventing me from leaving. Am I just gonna stab Frederick now? Don't try anything funny, alright? I pulled my arm free and quickly made my way out before he could grab me again. I really didn't want to have to deal with him again. The door fell shut behind me and I let my eyes wander to the other doors. Okay, no. So I haven't found an exit. Let's go find May. Can we get May now? Okay, so we got May. We can't go back in there. We have a knife, but not a gun. What can we do with a knife? What can we do with a knife? Let's go to the dog. Oh no, now I can attack the dog with a knife? Are you kidding me? Oh, okay. I'm actually gonna save this one because this is actually quite this door is quite in depth, and if it doesn't result in like an extra ending, there had to be a safer way. Okay, yeah, it's yeah. Okay, well, we have shot the dog. Now let's stab a dog. This is going well. I slowly approached the creature. The knife felt heavy in my hand. I strengthened my resolve and then lunged towards the dog. I closed my eyes at the last moment. I felt the sharp sting in my hand and jumped back. The dog had managed to lightly injure me, and now that it had tasted blood, it seemed to tug on the chain even more furiously. Since I had pulled out my hand quickly enough, I only sustained a small scratch. The dog, on the other hand, seemed to have dodged my strike effortlessly. Effortlessly. For fear of losing one of my fingers, I discarded the knife for now. A knife idea for now. In the end, I still couldn't think of a way to get around it. What am I gonna do with the knife? What can I do with the knife? I can't stab the dog with the knife. I feel like I can cut open the belly of the woman, but which room was she in? The belly of the woman room 2? Oh! This startled me and I almost slammed the door back shut. How did I not hear this commotion out in the hallway? People were screaming, punching, kicking, and pulling each other's hair. Others were smashing other people's heads against walls. Well, I gave them food and now they are insane. Everyone was doing their best to kill and not be killed. It was a horrible scene. As I stood there dumbfounded, I quickly realized what this was all about. People were fighting over food. Instead of sharing it, they decided to fight each other for it. Soon I couldn't differentiate dead from alive. As everyone was covered in blood, I watched in horror. Suddenly a brawling pair came dangerously close to me. I tried to dodge, but my back hit the door frame and I was pushed out of the room as they slammed against me. I didn't think they even saw me as they were too immersed in their fight. It seemed like the food shortage had driven them to insanity. Oh, man. I felt uneasy about entering this room, but I had to find out what had happened to everyone in here. With a foul feeling in my stomach, I stepped over the threshold. What I saw was way worse than anything I could have imagined. The stench was overwhelming. 40 lifeless, blood-covered bodies were lying on the floor. Somehow they had already started decomposing, even though I hadn't been gone for that long. The smell was enough to make me want to vomit, and I knew that if I stayed here any longer, I would. But I had to see if there were any survivors. I slowly made my way to the middle of the room to get a better look at the situation. But then the worst happened. I stepped on something soft and wet. My foot sunk in, and my sock was soaked. My body froze. Slowly, my eyes wandered to the ground. My foot was stuck in the torso of one of the dead bodies. Almost in a panic, I turned around and stumbled out of the door. When I got back into the hallway, I gasped for air and did my best to suppress my gagging and tears. It took me a while to get myself back together. I couldn't believe what I had seen in that room. It all felt like a nightmare. But I knew that I had to move on. The door sealed shut. No, we can't. Okay, I think the way through this is I think we have to get the gun, give the food to Frederick, get the gun, shoot the dog, and then take the kids with us? Okay, then it's this crazy person. Okay, now I can't go into this room anymore. I can't go into this room anymore. I can't go into this room anymore. No, it's not gonna do any good. Unless it works this time, why not? Last time I tried to attack it with the knife, I'd been successful. But now it was weak and almost unable to move. The knife might actually be a valid option this time. The monster looked up as I got closer, glaring at the knife in my hands with hate-filled eyes. I was afraid, but I knew that I had to do this to get past it. As I got closer, it started to writhe. It was almost as if it was trying to escape me. Once I stood right next to it, once again it tried to snap at me. I debated whether I should try to get past it without killing it, but the risk was too big. If I was to be bitten here, the wound could easily get infected. The dog could also carry a disease like rabies. I cautiously approached it and readied my weapon. At the last moment, I instinctively closed my eyes. Uh, as I felt the knife touch its body, I quickly jumped back. The knife almost tumbled out of my grip. When I opened my eyes, I could see that my aim had been off. I only managed to scratch its back. I still felt terrible. It became even more furious as it intensified its attempts to bite me. This time I had to deliver the final strike. I wanted to get this over as quickly as possible, and I didn't want it to suffer anymore. I took aim at its neck. The red collar it was wearing stared back at me. I readied myself and, again, I had instinctively closed my eyes at the last moment. When I opened my eyes, I saw the creature stare back at me. It had stopped barking. I looked to where I had aimed with my knife. There was no blood. I had missed. Oh, or to be exact, I had hit the wrong target. Instead of the dog, I had cut its collar. It was free. I quickly brought my hands up to my face as the dog lunged at me. My feet entangled and I fell backwards. Air was forced out of my lungs as my back hit the ground and the dog stepped on my stomach. If I hadn't been such a coward and hadn't closed my eyes, I wouldn't now be getting mauled by a dog. I readied myself for the oncoming attack. But nothing happened. I slowly opened my eyes. The dog had already stepped off my body and was running towards the door to the hallway. Why hadn't it attacked me? Did it think that I freed it on purpose? Either way, I was happy that I was still unharmed. As I looked at the ground where the dog had previously been, I noticed something it had left behind. It was the dog's collar. Something had been attached to its inner side. Please be a key! Please be a key! Yes! A key! Hey! The third key! I had no idea what this key was for, but I decided to take it with me. It might come in handy later. Cautiously, I walked towards the hole in the wall. I glanced back to confirm that the dog wasn't about to come back and attack me after all, but it seemed to really be gone. You found key 3! Alright, we got 3 keys. We got 3 keys. So I think maybe that was all of the endings for that duel. I think. I want to listen to the music for a second, see if if any other parts have been added. Yes, the violin is new. There we go. Oh, this song is so beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, before we go to extra, because I think that was all of the achievements, all of the endings, at least for each of the doors. I have no idea what's going on, other than there are 2 Mays, somehow. One May was doing an experiment on us, and the other May was not. Let's go to extra. I shot awake, panting heavily, my clothes sticking to my skin due to all the sweat. My eyes darted around the room, but everything was quiet. I seemed to be safe. A nightmare. Seems like I just had a nightmare. I couldn't remember it anymore, but it must have been horrifying. Chills were still running down my spine. It was just a dream, just a nightmare, nothing more. After calming down, I decided to take another look around the house. The fact that no one was here, even though the lights were on, was still nagging at the back of my mind. But I was more confident that I'd be able to find help now that it was daytime. I left the bedroom to retry the doors just in case. But when I passed by the front door, I noticed a sheet of paper that was taped to it. The handwriting was very crude, but I was able to make out what it said. No escape. Had someone been in here while I was asleep? And what did they mean with no escape? I tugged on the door. It didn't budge. I tugged again and again and again, each time with increasing force. It didn't move an inch. Was I actually trapped in here? I quickly moved to the nearest window and tried to open it. But I couldn't. Just like the door, this window too didn't budge. It was as if it was painted on the wall. The same was true for the other windows. In my desperation, I picked up a chair and threw it at the glass. But nothing happened. It didn't even cause a visible scratch. This was madness. Had someone locked me in on purpose? How could I escape? I quickly went from door to door and tried to open them, and to my surprise, one opened. Did I not check every door properly yesterday? Or did the person who was here before I woke up open it? This room looked like a study, a very small and empty study. The only notable objects were a desk and a computer. The desk had 4 drawers. Peeking at someone's private possessions didn't sit well with me. But this wasn't the time to think about that. I needed to find a way to escape. I tugged on one of the drawers. Closed. There were keyholes on the front of the drawers. But there were 4 drawers and I only have 3 keys. I took another look below the desk and behind the computer, but there was nothing of note. This also meant that there was no phone here I could use to call for help. But if this computer was connected to the internet, then I might be able to contact a colleague or a friend. When I put my hand into my pockets out of habit, I felt something metallic brush my hand. My pockets had been empty the day before. I pulled out what was inside and realized that I was holding several small keys that I didn't recognize. Yes. My puzzled look wandered towards the drawers. Yeah. Okay. But I don't have key 4. Oh, I can't save. Um I guess we'll try the computer first and then we'll start trying the drawers. I don't think the computer's going to be much help, but I switched the computer on and was greeted to a simplistic interface. Welcome, Maria. Oh, cool. Okay. Replay the intro, replay the outro. What's this? This looks like achievements. Oh, I have 16 out of 22 achievements. So, first door, you ate the plant, you kept reading Frederick's journal, you finished Sabrina's. Oh, good boy. I'm missing good boy. Whatever good boy is, I'm missing it. It's got to be something to do with the dog, right? In the first door? Because this is still first door stuff, so there's got to be something to do with the dog I missed in the first door. Second door. Second door. You're a fun guy. I missed something in the second door. Hangry! Oh, no! You let them die! There's an option where I can let them die. So I can just take all their food and let them starve? How do I do that? I give them the medicine and then I just take all their food? I don't know what this one is. Not all mysteries solved by yeah. Um, okay. What is this? Hints to finding the keys. Every door has one key. The first door is the easiest, the third door is the hardest. That's true, the third door was the hardest. For the third door, the order is important. Oh, I actually found them all, though. Yeah, I actually got all the keys. What's this? Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, they did say it was lucky I left the food before. You're right. So let's. I'm gonna ignore the keys for a second. I'm gonna go back to bed, and I'm going to see if I can get back in there and starve the children. Oh my god! All right, let's go starve the kids. So let's get the medicine, give it to Lanny, and then starve the children. Starve the children. This is what we're doing today. Okay. So I didn't see Sabrina at all. I have this like twisted need. So what do we need? We need the medicine. I have this twisted need to get all of the achievements. Yes. Hang on a second. I have to mute my microphone for a moment. So I'm gonna keep like speeding through this, but if new text has appeared, I will come back. Alright, I'm going to keep going into room 3 until I see if the kids are starved. But I'm kind of hungry. The food we had will soon be gone. I hope that we can get out of here soon, otherwise we might. I dodged the gaze and fixed my eyes at a corner of the room. I didn't steal your food, wasn't me. I should get going again. I'll come back soon to check on you and Lanny and again with your skeletons. I was just about to greet Amy, but then I realized that she wasn't kneeling in her usual spot. Okay, sorry about this. Hang on a sec. Okay, I'm back. The kids are dead, aren't they? My heart began to race. I started to assume the worst. I walked towards the middle of the room where her brother was lying. My eyes were still adjusting to the weak lighting. And there she was, lying next to him. They both looked famished, as if they hadn't eaten in at least a week. How? How could this be? I wasn't gone for that long. Something must have happened while I wasn't here. I shouldn't have left them alone. Then all of this wouldn't have. I could have stopped whatever that did this to them. But I was too late. I approached them and checked both their pulses. Nothing. I staggered backwards. There was nothing I could do for them anymore. With a heavy heart, I stumbled out of the room. Oh, we killed the kids! So now we just have to end this. So let's. The easiest way to end it would be to trade food with Frederick. Shoot the dog. Don't think about shooting the dog. And there we go. Key 3. Okay. So now we can go to extra. Computer. And then achievements. Yeah, 17. Okay, good. So the last two seem like they're going to be post-game things. The 1, 2, 3 I'm missing. I don't know how to do. Good boy has to be something to do with the dog. You're a fun guy. I guess it's something to do with the super funny dude, but I don't know how. And starving companions, I don't know. But I do know that we can go back and look in the drawers. I don't have 4 keys though, I only have 3 keys. Drawer 1. I slid the key in and it fit. I actually somehow had this drawer's key. Inside the drawer was an unassuming USB drive. I put it into one of the computer's USB slots. Oh, they're all going to be USB drives. Okay. I slid the key in and it fit. Okay, yep, it's all USB drives. Okay. Yep, USB drive. What about drawer 4? I was about to open the drawer when I realized there was no handle. Checking its sides and underside didn't uncover any hidden switches or keyholes. There was no way to open it without breaking it down bit by bit, which would take forever without proper tools. But this drawer might contain a way for me to escape, a spare house key, for example. I decided to work on dismantling the drawer while I wasn't investigating the rest of the room. You can't open the 4th drawer in this version of the game. Thank you for your patience. What? So do I have to wait for an update? Okay, computer. So I sense this is going to, yeah, there we go. I sense this is going to open up all the mysteries for me. Prepare myself for a lot of reading. Log 1. Our department was tasked with finding a cure for the recent outbreak, and I was appointed co-team lead to help with our insane workload. Since my partner will cover the logistical side of things, I can focus on research, experimentation, and choosing what to share with other departments. First, I'd like to summarize the subject. A new type of disease was discovered at excavation site 1208 ZOZ2. It was simply named 1208ZOZ2 disease, or ZOZ for short. Cause unknown. Team D is currently stationed on site for security and sample collection. The rest of us work in labs. ZOZ has no symptoms at first, but eventually causes lightheadedness, which is strange since it keeps blood flowing to the head. Suddenly, victims fall into a coma. Their bodies decay, their neck region hardens, presumably to prevent blood loss, and their brain mostly stays intact. Due to the disease's mysterious nature and transmissibility, we are forbidden to leave the quarantine zone. Those of us working on the cure here are especially at risk. The chance of contamination is high. Thanks to Team D, we now know that spore-like microorganisms are the most likely cause. Oh, I just realized that I have frozen. Oh, there we go. This confirms a prior theory about aerial transmission. Furthermore, we discovered that the heads from the excavation site are emitting more of them. I don't know how many of us are infected, but recent victims of ZOZ should start exhibiting its few symptoms any day now. Further testing is needed to learn how these microorganisms affect our bodies in such gruesome ways. If we can do that, we can find ways to fight back against ZOZ. Ugh, this entire situation is giving me a headache. With all the information gathered by Team D, we were able to draft a rough plan for the cure's development. I'm hopeful that we can make it quickly before ZOZ spreads beyond the local populace. Each team has set up sleeping quarters in and around the labs so that everyone can spend as much time as possible working on this. Some of us have gotten as little as 1 hour of sleep these past few nights. Hopefully, our sacrifices will be worth it. One variant of the cure is making steady progress. Otherwise, things have been generally slow. I fear the longer this takes, the more our morale will fail, especially as people within the quarantine zone fall victim to ZOZ. A colleague of mine broke down when he heard that ZOZ had traveled further than expected. His family lived in one of the newly affected quarantine zones. Team C also had problems with one of their scientists who got themselves banned from the research center. Apparently, she performed non-consensual experiments on people infected with ZOZ. So, are we a person who is infected with ZOZ who is having non-consensual experiments done on us? Due to the dire situation we're in, some might want to try extreme methods, but I agree that she went too far. Hopefully, nothing similar happens here. For now, I think I need to lie down. One of our facility's branches created a reliable means of telling whether someone has ZOZ before they fall into a coma. I've been given a prototype of the test and was curious enough to try it on myself. Unfortunately, it came back positive. I should have known, since I've been handling the spores daily. Not even following every possible precaution helped. How am I supposed to finish my research now? I'll just have to do it as quickly as possible. No one can know. This can't all be for nothing. The cure my team has been working on is almost complete. If I can, I'm going to try it on myself first, since it should wipe out any ZOZ spores within an infected person. It's my only hope. At least this way, if something happens, no one else has to suffer from our short-sightedness. I know I don't have much time left, so I've been working on it non-stop. I don't want to try it on someone else without knowing, with 100% certainty that it works. If it does, it shouldn't affect unaffected people. We'll distribute it to everyone, if so. It's better to be safe than sorry. I don't want to think about what will happen to me if it's ineffective. Writing these logs is getting harder. Darkness sometimes creeps in on the edges of my vision. It's difficult to stand, and I feel like I'm moving through water. If this ends up being my last entry, then goodbye, everyone, and good luck. There's no more entry. I recently encountered an interesting species of plant, one I hadn't seen before. It had a rather large stem, which was dotted with countless tiny mushrooms. Botany isn't my specialty, so I took it to an old colleague of mine who knows the field. He couldn't make sense of it either. One thing I quickly observed is that animals, mainly mammals like cats and dogs, seem to be highly attracted to the plant. Most eat them. Some even refuse to eat anything but. My botanist colleague and I decided to keep looking into these plants and the animals who eat them, at least until we solve this mystery. Eventually, I was able to observe a drastic change in animals that ate the plant. Their bodies deformed over time as they fed, and they became incredibly aggressive. Looking at them, they almost seemed to develop human or human like features. I feared I might be attacked at some point, so I locked all of my test subjects in cages. They only ate the damn plants. I had to keep feeding them an all plant diet, and it still disturbs me. They all started to look even more human. They also became far, far more dangerous. An ex-dog sniffed at a cloth my botanist colleague left behind and became highly agitated. It broke out of its cage and raced outside to who knows where. I chased after it, of course, but it was already long gone. Needless to say, I reinforced the cages the other animals are being held in. Today is the day after that incident. I just received word that my colleague was found dead in his home, with a big blood puddle underneath him. A DNA test revealed that it wasn't his. The person who found him swore that a weird monster was lying right where the puddle was, but slowly dissolved. Obviously, no one believed her. My working hypothesis at this time is simple. These monsters can be used to seek out and kill someone, but they die immediately afterward. While I mourn the loss of my colleague and friend, I need to continue our research. I have a feeling that other people have found out what the plants can be used for. They must be developing their own pets in secret. It won't go so smoothly. I'll have to keep growing my own and hope that I'm faster, better than they are. I should be okay as long as I avoid leaving anything of mine at someone's home. They can only do something if they have my scent, after all. It's just too bad those things die after only one use. Wow, that's fucked up. Oh, and these are all the pictures. Animate. So these are all the pictures from the first door. Very cool. I'm just gonna look at the pictures first. Yeah, there were a lot of pictures in the second door. Entry 1. The news talked about a new academic. I'm gonna have the rest of my coffee. Okay. The news talked about a new epidemic that's broken out, but refused to give any other information other than the disease sends you into a coma like state. They just told us to stay in our homes. There's talk of a contamination zone or a quarantine, too. One of the neighbors said they'll stop people from leaving the area, even by force if necessary. My sister, who was assigned to a team researching the sickness, also told me that she'll be away from home until the situation is resolved. I feel so alone and hopeless. Entry 2. This has been going on for way longer than I expected. My sister still hasn't come home since she left. I know she has to work day and night to help everyone, but I just can't help missing her. We've been through so much since we left home. I heard that some of my neighbors have the disease too. I really hope they find a cure. Also, I've started having weird dreams lately. I always find myself in a town that I haven't seen before. My neighbors are all there, but are perfectly healthy. That's pretty normal on its own, but it's the exact same town every time. It's like I really am walking the streets and seeing the sights there. Things are always lucid to an extent. Time just progresses in strange ways. Like, hours pass by in a matter of minutes, and I don't even notice. I must be having these dreams because of all of the stress. My sister suddenly came home. I was really happy at first, but she seemed different. When I asked what was bothering her, she said she got fired and wouldn't tell me why. I just let it go. I told her about my weird dreams too, but she barely listened. Maybe I can do something to cheer her up. Entry 4. My sister left yesterday night but didn't tell me where she was going. She came back with this weird device, which she said is for telling whether someone has ZOZ. ZOZ is apparently the name they gave to the sickness. I let her use it on me. Apparently, I got infected somehow, but I figured that was probably the case. Most of our neighbors are in comas, and I saw some of the ones who aren't just yesterday. I guess it couldn't be helped. She asked if I'd let her inspect me. I was hesitant, but she talked me into it. My sister told me something weird today. Apparently, I should already be in a coma, but I don't feel any different than usual. This led her to think that maybe, somehow, my body can fight the disease. She told me to stay put and not tell anyone until she was absolutely sure. Oh my goodness, all the reading. When I asked why I couldn't go to the research facility and let them have a look, she got really defensive. She said they might hurt me. I'll let her test her theories for 2 more days. After that, I'll see if someone else can find anything. Entry 6. I don't know what happened to my sister. We've always been close. She's my best friend, but she's just not the same person anymore. I tried to leave today because her 2 days are up, but she protested. Things got physical and she overpowered me. She locked me in my room and screamed about how it's for your own good and they'll kill you. I wish I was strong enough to break free. When she calmed down, she told me that there's something in our bodies preventing the sickness from developing. She even said she infected herself to test that theory. That made me cry. First because I thought she was insane, then because I was glad she's okay. Entry 7. I had another weird dream tonight. I was in that town again, but I met my sister there. We talked, and she said she'd been having the same dream ever since she infected herself. As soon as we were up, she stormed into my room and started asking questions. She said it might be because of ZOZ, but that doesn't make any sense. I just want this to end soon so things can go back to normal. Entry 8. Since yesterday, I've been hearing weird noises outside my room every now and then. My sister keeps saying that everything's fine and that I'm just imagining things. But I'm scared. Sometimes it's just random shuffling, but sometimes it sounds like muffled screams. What are you doing out there, Mary? There are generally 3 methods to reach the pinnacle of face comedy: distortion, removal, and addition. We'll start with the easiest one: distortion. Distortion is a simple but not well refined technique, so I wouldn't recommend trying it for too long. Still, good fundamentals provide a basis for improvement, meaning you, my dear reader, should keep paying attention. The easiest way to distort one's facial features is with the fingers. For example, you could pull up your eyelids or tug the corners of your mouth, giving you a strange appearance. Any amateur can do that, though. Using tools is far more complex, not to mention more permanent. Everyone will love it, especially if you shift the tool's places around. Personally, I'd recommend using staples or tape to make distortions more long term. Other interesting tools are strings and pins. Put a pin through your eyelid or cheek to fix something in place, then. The rest of the page is covered in red stains. Next, let's discuss removal. This is an intricate, highly involved process. You can completely excise parts of your face to look funnier, and maybe even charm your crush. To do this, you will need scissors, a big sharp knife, a handsaw or bone saw, and or a rotary saw. Caution, messy. It's usually best to have an assistant too. Removal is a difficult process by oneself, and maybe your buddy needs help as well. Just remember that laughter is the best medicine. The laughter you receive from this, the essence of true facial comedy, will make the pain more than bearable. First, make a small incision on the left side of your nose, and the rest of the description is drenched in blood. Finally, we arrive at addition. Like removal, this is a very risky technique, reserved only for the cream of the crop. It may sound simple, though. All you have to do is add and never stop. Search for features that are a disgrace to facial humor, then take them for yourself and pair them off. The person might even thank you for all your help with removal. There are some important things to keep in mind, though. First and foremost, never steal from a fellow comedian. Second, don't damage anyone's face while on the hunt for parts because you might ruin your auditions. Third, be sure to keep unused parts frozen so they can be used later. You may want to start with just one person, but variety is the spice of life. You can add all sorts of facial features to yourself and look like either a real freak show or a deific model. Beauty is only skinned. The remaining pages are covered in blood and assorted fleshy chunks, leaving them completely unreadable. Note 1. They actually fired me! Me! How could they be so short sighted? We need to use every possible method in combating ZOZ. If I was the leader of this operation, I'd fire anyone who let ethics get in the way. Sacrifices always need to be made to ensure humanity's future. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll just continue my research in private since it's not like there aren't enough subjects inside the zone. Frankly, I can't believe I originally thought I was unlucky to live here when this happened. It was a stroke of luck. First, I need to get my notes back. Those numbskulls wouldn't let me take them when they threw me out, and whined about how they're company property. It's my IP. I did the labor. I know my contract, and I know they don't have a leg to stand on. They just want to claim they found the cure, but it'll be me. At least security isn't too tight at the moment. Massive steps towards discovering a cure. My sister has ZOZ, and although I don't know when she was infected, she said she feels fine. This means the chance of natural immunity, or at least of natural resistance, is greater than zero. I'll have to take drastic measures and see if this resistance is genetic. Normally I'd exercise caution, but time is running out. No one else deserves the honors but me. My hypothesis was proven true. After a few successful tests and self-infection, it seems my sister and I are both completely immune to the disease. I will immediately start development on a cure. May suggested giving herself up to my colleagues. Yep, May is the sister. Okay, that's what I thought. May suggested giving herself up to my colleagues, but I convinced her to stay. They have a bigger team, so I'd have no chance to catch up if they found out about her. She gave me 2 days. I'll have to find a way to keep her here after that. It's not just for our sakes, but everyone's. I've been having odd dreams as of late. I always wake up in the same town, then find myself wandering through it for hours on end. Sometimes I see people sitting alongside the road, all of whom look identical to my test subjects. I've even met some who look like my infected neighbors, but they always insist that they've been living there all their life, and even recount events from their childhood to prove it. Strangely, I met May there too. She was shocked to see me, but the feeling wasn't exactly mutual. She mentioned something about having strange dreams the other night. I suppose this is just one of the disease's symptoms. Could ZOZ be related to a collective unconscious of some kind? Even if it's only shared among a few people? Do we really need to get rid of it if so? We could have eternal life in that alternate world. No, I'm too committed to stop now. The things I've done that I'll have to do are too much. Too much to allow that. I'm even running out of ZOZ infected. Maybe I need some uninfected subjects. Last night I broke into the lab again to see how their research was going and to collaborate with them. There's only so much I can do at home. Most people were asleep, but some weren't. When I thought I'd be found out, they just walked past me with blank expressions on their faces. Things must not be progressing too smoothly for them. Or maybe the numbskulls in charge have forced a crunch. Whatever it is, it can't be good for them. I'm glad to see it. It means I'm ahead of them, and that I can help them by perfecting my cure. As I was about to leave with my borrowed data, I found a scientist just outside the facility. Is that Scott? He was unconscious, so I brought him home. I soon found out that he was already infected, so at least I didn't have to do that part myself. Yep, that's gotta be Scott. I just finished designing a new formula for my cure. This lucky guy can be the first to try it. As I was exploring the other side, I realized that I could, very slightly, change the environment, and even the people around me. Does my resistance have something to do with it? Is it some kind of blessing, or a great curse? I also noticed something truly peculiar about my last test subject. He met my sister in the dream, but didn't have any fake memories. Unlike everyone else, he seemed to be lost and was trying to find his way back home. Maybe it's because of the new formula I injected him with. It might not have been enough to cure him, but he seemed to have the same awareness about that place May and I do, minus the power to actually wake up. It also seemed as if his presence is impacting the world and people around him, similar to May and me, but more extremely. This was a great stroke of luck on my part. I think I'll try testing how far I can warp that place further, and he'll make an excellent control group. Say, I wonder what happens to people in the real world when their ZOZ dream self dies. That's a good question. So I assume that's Scott. So the person we've been playing the game as was her test subject, and May was her sister. So because we were given the cure, which didn't actually cure us, we became sort of aware in a way of our surroundings by not knowing where we were. Which doesn't mean we were really aware. It just means we didn't have a place in the world like everyone else did. Buried village buried village uncovered by archaeological expedition. Last month, a team led by renowned archaeologist Herschel Sawyer set out to examine the recent landslide's path and origin. They discovered artifacts this past Monday, and today learned that these. Okay, my cat is walking in front of my camera, and here goes the nightmare. Yep. They discovered artifacts this past Monday, and today learned that these belong to an underground village near Pengambara. How or why it was buried remains unclear, but it's certain that this discovery will shed considerable light on local history. Dr. Sawyer asked our paper not to disclose the dig site's current location so that he and his team can work without distractions. When questioned about why no one came forward regarding the artifacts, one archaeologist said, "We just didn't know what we were dealing with. It'd be premature." He's hoping more interesting things get unearthed in the coming days. In a follow-up to yesterday's front-page story, Herschel Sawyer's archaeology team has discovered several human heads in the ground. The strange part, explained Dr. Sawyer, is that these buried heads' level of deterioration implies they're much younger than the village. When asked if they might be recent, he said the possibility was a strong one. The team has sent some of their findings to laboratories and the police for analysis. At the very least, this might explain what happened to these people, or how they ended up in such an abandoned underground place, Dr. Sawyer commented. The newly christened Buried Hamlet archaeological team made major progress today. This afternoon, Herschel Sawyer identified the village as more of a hamlet. Its people relied on farming to survive. There are no bigger historical villages near it, or Pengambara, so the residents were secluded. However, there may be more buried nearby, Dr. Sawyer explained. Before investigating the surrounding areas, the team will focus on fully uncovering the hamlet and its secrets. Unfortunately, sudden lightheadedness in certain members has slowed their progress. When asked to provide more information on the heads his team uncovered on Saturday, Dr. Sawyer informed our paper that he's still awaiting results from the police and laboratories. The Buried Hamlet Archaeological Team, led by Herschel Sawyer, can connect themselves to another strange occurrence. Disembodied buried heads they uncovered on Saturday were found to be more recent than expected. A coroner's report noted that blood circulation never stopped for a moment, even though specific parts of the brain had died. What we have here are, essentially, people in a perpetual coma, according to her. This borders on witchcraft, a scientist remarked. We still have no idea how it happened. Our assumption is that the heads have been preserved by an unknown parasite or some other organism. The police, meanwhile, said that the heads don't match any missing persons reports from the last 3 years. Scribbled note, we can't publish this. The coroner is claiming that this news might tarnish their reputation, and it might hurt ours because of how absurd it is. If this is all you have today, then remove their comment or claim it was anonymous. Alright. Well then, I basically get what's going on now, but I don't know how to do this last thing. You figured out the code. Code cracker. Code for what? And there's still three achievements. Mm. This is just music. I'm gonna try draw a 4 again just in case. No, I can't do anything. Go back to bed. So we have 4 more achievements, and I don't know how to get them. 4 more achievements. I don't know how to get them. What were they? Hang on, let me go back to extra. So something to do with the dog. Something to do with the dog. Something to do with the dog. I feel like I did everything to do with the dog. What? Unless finishing everything. Unless finishing everything unlocks something else. Anyone got any ideas? Yeah, that's what I wondered, if something extra will play out in the other doors for those other ones, but because I've been streaming for 3 hours and I'm about ready for. Oh wait, look! Oh no, that was my last nightmare. Yeah. I was upset there were other people I couldn't remember, but it must have been terrifying. Terrifying. Okay. We know not to eat the plants. Eating the plants is bad. Um, I'm gonna try to take. I think take a look around just takes you straight to like the end. But just in case something different happens. Nope. Maybe doing the doors in a certain order? Maybe. Um, so we don't eat this. We ask around for help. It's something to do with Frederick. So I'm gonna save here. Um, let's try stay here and wait first. And there's a dog. And then I just die. Okay, that's fine. So I have to make Scott a good boy, maybe, but I've already done that. I've already done the stay here and wait, so I'm gonna have to take a look around. Um, let's leave the book. And then we see the dog, and then we're like, crap, and then we run away, and then we... No. Okay, I have to take the book. The book is the only way to get... Taking the book is the only way to get those moments with the dog, but... So let's take it. Because then we get moments, right? Let's save again from here. So what if we take a break but don't read the book? Don't read. Oh, it just ended. Take a break. Okay, read. Continue. See, if I continue reading, the dog just kills me. No. Take a break. Read. Yes. Here, no. Um, my kitty's back. So yes. And then yes. Can I just give up? Since it, like, what happens if I say give up? I don't think I've said give up before. Give up. Alright, I don't know. I don't. Oh, no. I mean, maybe there's something we have to pick up, but this is not me looking for a clue. I don't want to look up the actual answer, I just want a clue. Like, I want to know if I need to get it from a different door or something. I don't know. This is not helpful. And my dinner's almost here. Well, I sadly wanted to finish this completely in one stream. I really did. But I don't think I'm gonna work this out anytime soon. So instead of, yeah, that could be some clues. Instead of doing a final stream with these extra ones, what I'll do is I'll make a video of me stumbling through trying to work it out, and then I'll cut it up nicely so that you don't have to watch me being lost. So yeah, I'll make a video for the ending bit, because I'm really not sure right now. So I'll have to have a think and see. But what I will say before I have I want to know what the code thing is too, because I don't see anywhere to put a code in. Yeah, I really don't know. Okay. Yeah, I will have a think. I will have a mess around. I will record everything and make a little video of me working out the final bit. But for now, I really, really enjoyed this game. I'm so happy I was given the chance to play it. Thank you so much to the developers for giving me a chance to play this. Please go and check them out. You can find them on Twitter at it's Mycorrhiza VN, I think. Yeah, Mycorrhiza VN, as in visual novel. You can find the game on Steam. Again, just search Mycorrhiza. I'll actually go back into these videos and put the link in so that you can go straight there. If you've had fun, please support them. Please buy the game, play it yourself, or just buy it to support them because this was great, and I really wish there were more games like this around. And I'm incredibly grateful to the developers for giving me a teeny little me a chance to play it. If you had a good time, please feel free to like the stream. It helps me out a lot. If you had an extra good time, subscribe! Why not? You can find out all about when I'm going to stream again on my Twitter, at SayViolet. I also have an Instagram, at SayViolet. I have a Patreon that I just started up again recently, at SayViolet. So you can find me everywhere. But for now, thank you so much, everyone. This has been a really enjoyable journey. I am probably going to play more visual novels now. I always thought that visual novels might not be the best idea for stream because visual novels and point and click adventures because so much reading, but actually I'm getting used to it and I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I hope you do too. For now, I will see you all next time.